Guys, Chris here. Hope there's not too much glare on the board and you can kind of see what I've got written up here. Talking about lead generators, talking about bribes, and we're talking about databases. Now, hopefully you just watched the first video, which gave you a brief overview. You'll have to excuse me a little bit, I've got a right nasty throat at the moment, but where David gave you a brief overview of the mechanics and the kind of the how-tos and the processes, where you go when you begin to build databases and you drop in autoresponders and all that kind of stuff. That was all kind of covered over here. What we're going to be looking at is the literal part of the list building, i.e. when you build a list, when you start to get all these names, what the hell do you do with them? Now hopefully you read the email that we sent out a couple of weeks ago, and this will kind of back up some of the information in there as well. First of all, just want to cover this part briefly. We've got lead generators, which are generally going to come from your ads, from your calls, from the web, which could be pay-per-click, AdWords, all that kind of stuff. Also walk-ins. Idea being that everything that you do here, you're getting two things minimum. You're getting a first name, you're getting an email address, and I know that David kind of went through that, but I just want to emphasize that. It's just so important. If you're getting the first name and the email address, you can start building this, your database. In the middle of the database in the lead generators, I've put a bribe. Now obviously what we're looking to do here is just get people to go to your website so that they can pick up the bribe. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And that could be, as David discussed, I think the newsletter, it could be a free report. You know, how did little Johnny go from being a D student to an A student after training with you for 6 months? La la, that's going to be interesting to a parent out there, isn't it? Okay, so that's your bribe. Once we've given them a bribe and they've given us the first name and email address, we can drop them into our database. And the database is merely a format that allows you to capture the first name and the email address. You can do it on an Excel spreadsheet initially. You can write it out longhand. Don't care what you do, just get that information and start to hoard it now. You may not be at a position today where you're going to go out and get yourself an autoresponder. However, I'll direct you straight back to the members area because there are a couple on there. One of them is vertical response. Okay, you can set that up to actually send out emails as and when you'd like it done. The other one is Aweber. Now you'll see the links on the members area there. I think it's on the first page when you go in with your username and password. If I remember rightly, it's on the right hand side. So go and have a look at those. You can take a free tutorial on these. They're not massively expensive, they're reasonably cheap and cheerful, but the point is you can start dropping your names in and you can start sending information to people automatically. So, they've taken your bribe, they've got something from you, they responded to your ads, your calls, your pay-per-click advertising, whatever it might be. They're now in the database, you put them on the autoresponder, what next? Now what do we do with them? This is where your list building and segmentation becomes all important. Something I'm going to interject here, which I did say in the email, but it's worth noting because I did hear that somebody was recommending this in our industry, and I basically like to slap it down straight away. Never, ever, ever, ever buy an email list. Don't, okay? It's the worst idea on the planet. If you buy an email list, it's insanity. Number one, you're wasting your money. Number two, you could get in an awful lot of trouble with all the new spam stuff that's come out, okay? So don't buy it. Don't do it, you don't need to, you can build organically if you just follow the processes that we talk about here. Now we are going to be coming back to all of these things, all these individual components. You might be wondering, well, what the hell is pay-per-click? What do I do with that? Well, right now it's not relevant. No point having pay-per-click advertising until we've got all of this sorted out. Otherwise, what the hell are we going to do with them? So, we've got our autoresponder here, we've dropped them in, and we're now going to go through that process of developing our list so that it becomes something. We want some kind of stepped process. First of all, they're going to be leads, okay? Then hopefully, from being a lead, they might get a product from us, or they might get a class. And I've just said product and class here. It could be a free class, it could be a free product. In other words, it could be another bribe down here somewhere along their way. You know, keeping people interested. It could be a video, as I think David mentioned. It could be another free report. It could be literally anything that you can provide online. Okay? So these are both free, classes and product, they're still leads. At some point, however, we're hoping to convert them to customers, okay? So that will mean they're actually going to diverge at this point as well. The customer, you've got two types. One is local, and I've put the other one down as worldwide, all right? So those are the people that have landed up here on your website, taken your bribe, because they've seen your website in Alapuna, Canada, whatever it might be, okay? They've gone through all this process, they've taken your free stuff, might not have taken your classes unless you, of course, you videoed some and put them online, in which case they might have taken them, okay, and done them at home in front of the PC. But the point is they've taken the free stuff, they've got this information, they've become customers because they might have bought something. You could have had a course going here, which is, I don't know, let's think of an example. 6-week course, video based, you get it off as a download from your website, and it's on strength and flexibility. 6-week course, anybody in the world can download that, they can watch it, follow it, and they will improve their strength and flexibility, and they'll get to know you in the process, yeah? What that will prove to them is that your stuff works, that it's good information. They might actually begin to form a relationship with you. It might only be via a video camera, but they'll start to form a relationship with you because they can see you, they get to hear your voice, get to know your, little idiosyncrasies and so on and so forth. Okay, so you're building that relationship. So that little course now means that they get dumped into the customers list. Now here you have kind of an automatic segmentation that you can set up in your autoresponder. So the minute somebody buys something from you, okay, and you add them to the customers list, they get deleted from your leads list. Okay, so all of the autoresponder information that gets pumped into your leads, for instance, David was talking about the automated autoresponders where you have email 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 leading up to your newsletter and so on and so forth. Well, we don't want to keep doing that to our customers, do we? Because otherwise we'll be sending them information that says, we'll buy this when they've already bought it. So we segment them, they go into the customers list, then we further segment them as well. Okay? And these are based on local and worldwide. Those two will now get a different set of follow-ups. Okay? You've got follow-ups going into the local one because you hope to get them down training with you. Follow-ups with the worldwide guys who are never going to come training with you, but you can still sell them things that are going to benefit them, that they can use to train with at home. Okay, I'm being fairly quick about this, but as I say, I will come back to these over the weeks and months in a lot more detail. We'll go very, very specifically into the autoresponders, including screenshots and screen captures, where we'll actually walk you through the process. Okay. And eventually you've got that other list there. This is the one you really want to start building fairly quickly, I would hope, which is your students one. They're the ones that get the specific student-only material, which is the specific student-only newsletter, not the one that the general guys get. Okay? 2 types of newsletter, one for the students, one for people who could potentially become students or just buy your shit. Okay? Basically what that means is that all the stuff that you can produce, that you can put online, the videos, the information, the free reports, the health and fitness information, you could give me dietary information. There's a ton of stuff that you could provide to anybody out there, and they'll happily pay for. Well, that's the stuff that can go into that newsletter because it's free, okay? And everybody will be interested. They don't necessarily need to be a martial artist, okay? So we start to diverge and we serve a wider market. So we've got the students receiving their specific information, we've got the general people receiving their information. The minute one of those locals goes into the student one, they're crossed off that list, okay? They're now going to students, so they don't receive any of this information anymore. Okay? So in a nutshell, that's what it is. I've got to watch the time a little bit. So we've got lead generators, we've got ads, calls, web, PPC, AdWords, walk-ins. Then we go through the website, picking up our bribe, get dropped into the database, and then we get put into the autoresponders, and we start to separate out the leads to the customers to the students. If you've got any questions on any of this, put it down in an email it to us,